Jackie, the Sewing Pastor's Wife, and this is Friday Sews. Take number 874, because the dogs who have been quiet all day long decided to get rowdy when it was time to record. Praise the Lord. But this is Friday Sews, and if you are not aware of what Friday Sews is, it is a hashtag created by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room, and it's my favorite thing because it's sewists from all over the world who share how they're doing in their sewing room, what they're doing in their sewing room, what they're hoping to make in the next week, and a little bit about life. And I've loved being a part of it. So that's what we're doing. Let me get my little outline out, which you'll see later when I talk about it in my sewing planner, but because it keeps me on track. So one of the things that I've forgotten to do in the last couple of weeks was to highlight a Friday Sews channel that I enjoy watching. So actually the one I'm talking about today, I just found this morning while I was eating breakfast, and it is Erin Sews. She's just started 2 weeks ago, and I already love her. She's a stay-at-home mom, and she has a little 10-month-old little girl, and that's who she's sewing for her. She sews for herself, and she's a quilter. And so I think she's going to be a really good Friday Sews to watch. So y'all go check her out. I'll put that in the description below so you can find her. But know this, that you can always just search the hashtag Friday Sews and tons of videos will come up. And there's not enough time in the world to watch all of them. It's wonderful. So, what I'm wearing, I need to put that on my sewing planner. You'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm wearing this, let's see, I'm gonna stand up. This, I didn't make this. This says GG because it's backwards in the camera. But this is a shirt that was given to me for Mother's Day. And so I love it. And I'm wearing that today because I don't think I have any of my finished Me-Mades with me. So that's what I'm wearing today. So here's what I've worked on. Of course, I am house sitting still. Today's my last day. I go home tomorrow. Today's my last full day, and then I go home tomorrow. So tomorrow will be filled with packing my things and cleaning up, and then I'm going home, which my husband is so ready for me to come home. Or at least that's what he says. He's probably actually totally been enjoying the peace and quiet. I know I've been enjoying the peace and quiet. It's been wonderful, even though the dogs decide to get rowdy. At least once a day, they just get rowdy. And so they chose today while I'm recording. But anyway, here's what I've been working on this week. I brought my cross stitch along with me, and I am so glad I did, because all of a sudden now I have this renewed love for cross stitch. And I put a picture on Instagram earlier this week of like the first day, and then this is where I'm at now, which maybe to some of you probably seems like I've been wasting my time, because that is not a lot. But well, here's what I've been doing. I've started this whole nice routine here. It's easy to have regular routines when you're by yourself. So anyway, during the day, I've been working on some projects for church, and then at dinner, then I make dinner, and then I clean up everything, and then I sit down with my cross stitch and watch a TV show, which is right now The Good Doctor. That's what I've been watching. I started it a long time ago, never for some reason quit watching it, and now I've started watching it again. So I kind of watch that. I've tried to watch sewing videos or cross stitch videos. I couldn't do that and cross stitch. It was too distracting. So this pattern that I'm making is called Scandinavian something. I looked it up. I was going to link it in the description box, but they have closed their Etsy shop, and I'm so sad about it, because maybe it's just temporary. I'm not sure. But this pattern is really cute. So just a modern design, and it's simple, and it's all in blues, as you could see. But it's a little bit tricky because it might have 2 of this blue here, and then 3 of this blue here, and then 7 of another blue. So it's a lot of changing back and forth. But that's okay. It's been really good, and I've loved cross stitching all of a sudden. I just love it. And I've been watching cross stitch videos, and it's a whole nother world that I don't need to get involved in. But here I am. I'm in it anyway. So that's what I've been working on this week. And then before I get into, I'm going to share my sewing planner, which I made a separate video for, because anyway, I made a separate video. So I'm going to pop that in. But first, I'm going to talk about what I purchased this week, which was, I think I've only made, okay, I bought one thing this week, which is the Love Notions Juliet top. that just released this week. So if you're watching this in like fairly real time, it's still on sale, I think till the 6th of June. I could be wrong about that. Again, I'll put that in the show notes. But the Juliet top, you'll see it in just a minute when we look at my sewing planner. But oh, it's so cute, and I cannot wait to make it. And I feel like that's a shirt that I'm gonna make definitely multiples of. So you can check that out. Again, Love Notions is on sale for my husband. Why? So he just sent me a picture of mulch because that's what he's doing while I'm here. He's been working like crazy at the house. He cleaned out 2 of our flower beds, and it looks like a completely different house. I cannot believe how much junk, not junk, like shrubbery junk was in our beds. Anyway, so he sent me a picture of the back of his car full of mulch that he's buying. He doesn't know I'm making a video right now. So anyway, let me get back to my Friday sews. Where was I? So I bought the Juliet dress or top. It is on sale right now for $9.50. I think it's $9.50. And it is going to normally be $12. Why can't I remember anything once I hit the record button? But anyway, I'll link that in the description below because it is a super cute top, which you're going to see in a minute when I show you my sewing planner, which I'm going to go ahead and pop in right now. Okay, everybody, I hope this is not going to be a disaster because I have never done a screen recording and then done like a voiceover like I'm doing. So we'll see how this works. So this is my sewing planner, and I've been hanging on to this because I knew there was going to come a day when I wasn't going to have a sewing project to show you, and I have sort of one today, but no sewing. So I wanted to share my sewing planner with you. So this is in my iPad. I got this iPad back in November because I really wanted to try living that paperless digital life. Okay, but I love paper and I love pens, and so it's been a struggle, and I'm forcing myself to stick with it, except for with my Bible reading stuff. My Bible spiritual journal is still a paper journal, and I use pens, and it's glorious. So it kind of fills that need. I don't know if anybody else is like that, or you, please tell me somebody else out there is like that about paper, but I love it. But anyway, the digital planner, I started watching videos on YouTube last year, and I just got myself so worked up. I wanted to have an iPad so bad so I could do digital planning and use it for digital notebooks, because I tend to have a million notebooks going at all times because I had my planner for my personal, just my life, time management stuff. I have notebooks for the church work I do. And then I had notebooks with it, like other notebooks for church stuff that I do. I have notebooks for taking notes on Bible stuff, on books I read. I will start a notebook for anything anyway. So I wanted to put everything into a digital notebook. And when I saw this app called Good Notes, which I will link to that in the description below, I just got completely fired up. And then after I got it, and when I started sewing again, I was like, oh my goodness, this is a perfect thing to do, is make a sewing planner, because when you sew from PDF files, you have pages and pages of instructions and tutorials that come with it. So I printed those out, and they were taking up a ton of space. I didn't really have them organized well. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put them in a digital notebook. So I created this notebook called the Sewing Pastor's Wife. I keep pointing to stuff and y'all cannot see it. All y'all can see is my screen. Anyway, I created this notebook, the Sewing Pastor's Wife, and I just want to show it to you really quick. So first thing I did was put measurements. These are not fake measurements. They were true at the time, but I need to redo my measurements since I've lost weight. But anyway, here's my page for my trackers, and I need to fill all these out. I just haven't done it yet. Then this is for my daughter Emma. And this is for my granddaughter Eloise. I have one for Sailor, my little bonus granddaughter, who I'm about to start sewing for, hopefully this next week. I have one for Arlo, my grandson. And then for PD, bless his heart, he's the last one, don't tell him. So I've got this in here. I want to get this filled out so that I'm ready to go with that. I think I just made this in Canva. I don't know if I found it in Canva or I made it. I don't really remember. I don't think I made it. I think I just found it in Canva and added the silhouettes to help me quickly identify which person it's for. So anyway, there's my measurement trackers. And then I created this little, that sounds like I've done something real big. Sewing project planner. I have not actually used it yet because I really just, when I get to the store, if I want to know something, I look up the pattern company. Because the good thing about GoodNotes is that it does show up on your phone or your desktop or wherever. That's all your devices. I just haven't, I haven't used this yet. Then I have my Friday Sews planner because when I do not have a plan, I tend to ramble and I tend to forget stuff. So I just went ahead and made myself a little form that I can fill out every time I do a Friday Sews video, and it helps keep me organized. It helps keep me from going down rabbit trails and all the things. And then I can remember also what it was I talked about on other Friday Sews videos. So I have that. Here's a few that I've actually used. Okay, then I have this pattern wish list. And one of the things I love about the digital notebook is that you can just add as many pages as you want, and you can move them around, and you can, add one before, add one after, whatever you want to do. So it's very versatile and very, it's just easy to use for me. So here's just 3 patterns that I've added. I really need to do more than this. Because the iPad makes it really simple to copy a picture and just pop it into the GoodNotes. So I'm looking at this McCall's. I have no idea. Like, I don't love this looking at it, but I must have seen a video that somebody did and they made one that I liked. Because I don't know. I have no idea why I put that one in there. I just put Tilly in the buttons and this Tessuti pattern in here because I just saw them this week. But anyway, I need to fill this up with all the patterns I want to make, because I always think I'm going to remember, and then I do not remember the ones I like. All right, the next thing I want to do, I've only done it for one of my sewing books. I have a few sewing books. This was from Bend the Rules Sewing, and I just quickly did little pictures. I just took it with my iPhone and stuck it in here of some of the projects that I want to try or maybe will want to try. Then we get to the part where I have imported the PDFs for different patterns. So let's go to, and here's what I love. So if I click this thing that you can't see because this is not, it's just my screen, you can create like a table of contents. And so here are my patterns. And if I just click one, it'll take me right to it. So let's go to the latest Love Notions pattern. I just bought this today and I imported it in here. I just put them in alphabetical order by the pattern company and by the name of the pattern. So isn't this Juliet top so cute? I may have already talked about it in the Friday Sews video, or I'm going to talk about it. I don't know when I'm going to put this video in of my sewing planner. But anyway, so here it is. And then here's all the directions that came with it. It makes it so easy when you're sewing to just have this here, or have it right by your sewing machine right there on the table, and I can see the directions really easily. I'm not worried about dropping paper. I'm not worried about losing paper. And oh my goodness, when I did this, I was able to get rid of so much paper. Now, I didn't get rid of it. I actually popped it into my recycling bin so I could use it to print out PDF patterns. So I don't know about you, but when I print out my PDF patterns, so I print them out on copy paper, the cheapest copy paper I can find, or like recycled copy paper. Like anytime there's a boo-boo at the church office, I take all that paper home with me so I can use it. Usually I'm the one making the mistakes though from copies, like, when you make copies of the wrong thing or whatever. So I'll bring that home and pop it in there. So I will print out those on the cheapest copy paper, the recycled copy paper, tape it all together, and then I go back with my medical tracing paper. I will also put a link to that in the description, and I trace out the pattern, and that's so much easier than having those funky put together pieces of copy paper. So I have that. Now, I don't have it with me, but what I do with my printed pattern pieces, and this is working for now, but I think if I get too many more patterns printed out, it may take up too much space. But a couple months ago, the church was cleaning out some storage closet, and my daughter brought home a 3-ring binder that is like stinking enormous. It is, it's huge. And so I don't know if you know this, but 3-ring binders have gotten super expensive lately in the past few years. So I would probably not have bought one of these because I would have probably said, nah, it's too expensive for just a notebook. But anyway, I've got this one. And not only was it a fabulous, I'm so sorry. Why, dogs? Apparently the wind has changed direction and they decided they need to bark about it. So I don't know how loud it's going to be in the microphone. So I have this 3-ring binder. It came full of sheet protectors in it. I mean, I would say hundreds of sheet protectors. So what I do is I print out the front page, like what you are looking at on the Juliet top. Where is it? So I would print this out, pop that in a sheet protector, and then when I did my pattern pieces, put that right behind it inside the sheet protector. So that's working for me right now. I don't know how long that's going to work, like I said, because it's getting thick already, and I don't feel like I have that many in there. So anyway, we'll see. I'll show that physical notebook to you at some point, I'm sure. But anyway, so that's my sewing planner. I hope that this was maybe inspiring to you. If you have any questions about digital notebooks or stuff like that, just pop it in the comments or email me and I will be happy to talk about it because I love stuff like this. But seriously, I really miss my pens and paper a lot. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm saving paper. I'm saving trees. And I can carry it all with me in one handy dandy little device. So anyway, all right, let's get back to my Friday Sews video. Okay, I hope you enjoyed looking at my sewing planner. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. I will be happy to answer any questions that I can. So let's talk about goals for this next week. I'm going to combine this with the question that Jen asked, which is what's the first thing you're making this month? So the first thing I'm planning to make is that little dress for my bonus granddaughter, Sailor. It is the ginkgo dress, and I'll link in the description where you can get that. It's just a sweet little simple dress. It's really cute, and I think it'll be perfect for Sailor in that little bumblebee fabric that I have. So that's my next plan to make. Then I also want to make, which I probably won't make it this next week, but I guess I'm just kind of giving out my plans for June since it's the beginning of the month. So I want to make a dress or more, really I need more than one because we're going out of town for 2 weeks. At the first 2 weeks of August, we're going to 2 different trips. And one of them is to go to Fine Arts in Columbus, Ohio, where my daughter will be performing. I think I've already talked about this. So anyway, we'll be there for a week. I want to be comfy. So I'd like to make a couple of like dresses. And so y'all seen the Montana one, maybe if you've watched that video. And I really like it. I mean, I really like the pattern. I don't like the dress I actually made because I don't like the fabric. That it was too weird. But I think if I get the right fabric, it's gonna be a really good dress. So I want to make that. I wanted that, but then at the same time, I wanted a dress with tears, because I think they're so cute. So I spent an unbelievable amount of time, I think it was yesterday, looking on the internet trying to figure out which one I wanted. And I kept telling myself what I really want is the Style Arc Montana midi top bodice with the Style Arc Nova midi bottom, which is tiers. You can do 2 tiers or 3 tiers. And I was like, I don't know if that you can mash them up. So let me Google that. So I Googled, can you mash those up? And yes, you can. So Alex Judge, I think is her name. I cannot remember the name of her YouTube channel. It might be her name, but I'll link it in the description below. She literally did that. She took the bodice of the Montana and put it with the tiered bottom of the Nova midi, and they were perfectly fine together, which makes sense to me. After I watched the video, I was like, well, duh, obviously this is going to work because it's gathered, and so you can make it work. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Probably not next week because I don't even have my fabric yet, but I'm going to work on that because I really want that dress. Because I don't like sleeveless on me. I'm never comfortable wearing no sleeves, and that's probably partially because I don't wear sleeveless things to church, especially when I'm on the platform. I also Not a super big fan of my fat arms, but anyway, that's really not why I don't wear them, because the Montana midi just has little dolman sleeves that are basically cap sleeve length, so they're not really sleeves either, but they feel better to me than just like a tank top sleeveless thing. So anyway, I'm going to do that. That's what I want to do. Then the third thing that I want to try to make in June, maybe going into July because I'm kind of slow, is the Sunday romper from Love Notions, because my daughter, I showed it to my daughter a couple years ago and she wanted it. So I online ordered some fabric from Joann. Because I think this was still during COVID. So more like 3 years ago. I ordered it online, and when I picked it up, I was like, that's not the color I was expecting at all. It was a minty green instead of an aqua green, and so I was kind of like, eh. But I realized that I can go ahead and make it because, number one, it'll help me, it'll be a toile for fitting and for working out any of the techniques that might be complicated for me. So I can do that, but if I like it and it works, I can dye it. I can dye the fabric into a different color. So I'm going to just go ahead and do that because I actually want to make the Sunday romper for me too. Even though it concerns me that it's a romper and I have to go to the bathroom a lot. So anyway, if I get that done before I go, fine. If not, I guess it's okay. But I would love to have that too. I think a great outfit for the casual stuff that we're doing in August. So that's my plans. And about me and my life, of course, I'm house sitting, loving it, living the dream here in this beautiful house with almost zero responsibility. It's pretty fabulous. But while I've been here, I've been working on writing some curriculum, I guess is the word. I don't know. I've been writing for our discipleship program that I don't even like to call it the word program, but I'm sorry, I keep not looking at the camera. I don't know why I'm doing this today, but anyway, my husband and I are writing some material that we're going to be teaching in weekly videos, sometimes him, sometimes me, for the people who go through our discipleship program. I don't like that word, but it is what it is. So people in our church attend a retreat, not everybody, but if they choose to, they can attend a retreat in the fall. And then after this, if they want to go further, they can ask to be discipled by one of our disciple makers, one of our leaders. And they go through 30 weeks of discipleship. Well, it hasn't actually been 30 weeks before, but we're tweaking this order of stuff we're doing. And it'll be 30 weeks where they meet either one-on-one or two-on-one, one disciple maker and 1, 2, maybe possibly 3 disciples will meet together weekly, and they go through a reading plan, they memorize scripture together, and then the part that I'm working on is creating a journal for them to write down their notes for their reading plan. And then also my husband and I will be doing these videos 5 to 7 minutes long each week, addressing some sort of topic. So what I worked on this week was the first one. I was supposed to get 5 done. Like that was my plan. I've gotten 1. But it's about brokenness because that's the first session of our encounter that they go to, that weekend retreat. So anyway, I did a teaching on brokenness. I did the writing part of it. And when we go away in August, we're going to be making the videos that go along with it. So it's going to be a whole thing. So I'm excited to see what God's going to do with that. And there are so many people who are excited about just diving deeper into the Word, diving deeper into their relationship with God. And this is going to be one of the avenues that God can use to do that for the men and the women of our church. So I'm really excited to see it all come together, but it's not going to come together if I'm only writing 1 teaching in the time I was supposed to write 5. Maybe because I was watching cross-stitch videos and sewing videos. Maybe. I'm not admitting to that. So that's been my life. Next week will be a little bit different. I'm actually going into a declutter season in my house. Like I talked about last week about doing a declutter video for my sewing room. So I'm going to be doing that in 2 parts because I'm going to be taking everything out of my office slash sewing slash craft room. Not this coming week, but the week after. And then we're going to be painting the floor in there. I think I talked about that last week's Friday Sews. And then we're going to go back and I'll have to organize everything. So it'll be in a multiple parts. But anyway, I have like something every single week that I'm trying to work on and declutter. I make all these plans. I don't always follow through. So we'll see how that goes. But next week I'm working on my kitchen because, you know, if your kitchen is in order and things are organized there, it makes your life so much easier. Then I'm going to the office. So we'll see. Anyway, the first I want to leave you with today is found in Psalm 34:18. It is one of my favorite verses. And it says, the Lord is near the brokenhearted. He saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. I just wanted to remind you of that, encourage you in that if you are feeling broken, if you are broken, if you're feeling broken, know that there is a God who is right by you and he is willing to save you. He is wanting to encourage you and bring you comfort and help you through your brokenness into a place of total healing. So I'll leave that with you, and y'all, happy sewing. I cannot wait. I was trying to remember if I did left a part for the sewing planner video. I hope I did. Anyway, have a great week, and I can't wait to talk with you next week here on Friday Sews.